Welcome back to Visual Trigger.
Nice. So last night did the printing of that older woman in that cafe diner-ish kind of thing. Stoked on the results. Tonight, I think we'll do. I don't know. I kept thinking about that racetrack all day. I don't know why. Let's see. Definitely not frame 30 unless I'm looking for an out of focus abstract. I think yeah, 31. And honestly, that's got to be Santa Anita, because I think 2017. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hollywood Park would have been gone by then. People betting. Yeah, number 31. Tonight, we'll have a little Glen Morangi. Yeah, pretty color. Definitely not that smoky, peaty craziness last night, even though it wasn't as bad as like, well, not bad. I just sometimes you have to be in the mood for. I've got a bottle of scotch in one hand and a glass in the other. That's how a motherfucker does it. That's funny. Whenever I think of that word motherfucker, I was at Sundance and I was one of the official photographers, which means you're shooting for Sundance and other things around Sundance. And there's this Park Street. It's like the main drag. It's the only thing the town has going on, except for slutty Mormon chicks. But I have no idea if that's true. I shouldn't even have said that because now like some Mormon lobby's gonna hate me. So there's all these other photographers, like I'd say 15, surrounding one person, and you see flash, 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 something John, I don't know what it was. So I just stood there for a second to see who the fuck that was. Well, the celebrity sightings guys in any other world is called paparazzi. They kind of move along, and there's a dude standing there, and I walk up and I said, Mr. Malkovich, I know you hate motherfuckers like me, but do you mind if I just get one frame? And he's like, well, what kind of motherfucker are you? And I said, well, I'm the motherfucker that needs one frame. And I had the 75 Summicron Apo Summicron, whatever the fuck they call it, in my bag. So I put it on, and he kind of like, I frame him up. I want to do it horizontal, and he kind of gives me a look and one shot. And he's like, you're welcome to take more if you want. And I said, nah, I told you, I'm the motherfucker that needs one frame. So, yeah. I should print that one too. That was Bluetooth. And for the first time, I had background music, and then YouTube puts like some message like, you had some copyright violation because I had background music. But you can keep it, you just can't monetize it. And since I don't really give a fuck about that, I guess it doesn't matter. So let's print some ponies. And the funny thing about putting my shoulder under this, it's got like a gas. What do they call it? They call it a gas spring, and they go out like because I mean this thing's got to be 25 years old. I think they stopped making this stuff in the mid 90s. The darkroom kind of hobby. It had its heyday in the 80s to 90s and then gone. But that doesn't mean you can't find spectacular deals on this stuff. So let's get this focused and kind of where I want it to be, and we'll make a print. Let's get this negative in here. See how this is. Try to get it as even as possible. How are we on the sides coming in? Let's see, we are... Let's just do this, 12. So that should be equal on those, on that 14. Let's see how we are on this side. We're at 6.5. We don't have anything light sensitive out, and we can go ahead and turn this on. Where are we at? We're at 8. We're at 8. Pretty sure those are pretty close. We cropped in just slightly. I would have preferred to get even less of this, but don't want to lose any context of up here. It's pretty close to full frame, but I just want to take a little bit of this away. I'll end up dodging it a little bit. Burning in here. Burning in this area. Definitely dodging here. Let's see if we're in focus. Pretty close, I think. Yeah, I was within like 1 millimeter of. So yeah, let's get a test strip going, and it's always. I always start at grade 2. I'll do 4-second increments because I think, I'll bet I end up at 12 or 14, but we'll see. So, I say SOA, it's like my fucking and there's a word that my friend John calls this shit. It's his, I can ask him what that word is. Or phrase. So straight up and down, I almost always never do that. Almost always. I do some diagonal, and there's not a face on this one either. And, I don't know if I'd normally make this print, but my dad loves horses and horse racing. So, and I've gone to horse races, Yeah, I know. Fuck it, PETA. Or fuck you, PETA. Uh, it's a beautiful sport. Glad I ain't riding them. But anyway, I'm sure my dad will like this and getting a print in the mail. So we'll tape this down. Get some horsies in there. And again, we'll start at 2. We'll start at 4-second intervals. Remembering always to turn on my goddamn beeper, because I like my beeper. And yeah, I think since this is pretty thin down here, we'll start up here at the 4 seconds, and because I know that'll just be totally overexposed. And let's get this foot switch going. Grade 2 4-second steps. Let's see what we got. And 2 minutes. Yeah, I think I may have made some of these strips from a piece of paper that was possibly fogged, but I don't fucking remember. It seems like I may have, but I guess I'd rather give it a shot than waste, and not be ecologically. I mean, I do everything in my power to make sure that this stuff is disposed of 100% properly, but still, I'd rather not waste if I didn't have to. That's cool. And, 4, 8, 12. I'll bet you this is like a 16. Everything's between 12 and 16 for me. I have a funny story about a guy who owns a lab. But I don't have long enough to tell that story in a minute. That's kind of cool. I look at shit, and unless it's like some, like, I don't know. But I have to stop being so judgmental on frames. Because clearly on fucking Instagram, you can tell that people are not judgmental at all. Like, zero. And it always surprises me how you have 46,000 fucking followers and you really don't know shit about making a frame. So, clearly 4 doesn't work. 8, the density's just not there. Now we start seeing density 12, 14, perhaps a little bit different density at 16 and 20. So I kind of think, and I think actually grade 2 works pretty well for this. I like where I see my highlights. I like, there's definitely some black in there too. So I think I'm going to use 14 as my base, grade 2. And then I don't know. Definitely some white. I wonder which horses those are if I know them. There's a slim chance I know them. Well, it's definitely a gray one in number 2. And my parents always, they like gray horses. Four, 8, 12. 12 and 16. So I'm going to try 14 at grade 2. And then I'm going to do another exposure at probably grade 3.5, just like in a couple of different areas, and we'll see what we get. Back and there you go. Filter. So, yeah, let's, grade 2, we'll do 14 seconds. No, it's just, we have to like 3, not 3.5, 3 from 2. And we'll do steps, starting at the top of like 4 seconds. Actually, you know what? Let's do 2 seconds. Because it might not be that long of an exposure. Oh shit, I should have written on the back of it. Well, sometimes that happens. I have to have a pencil, like I should stick a pencil like right on the face of my enlarger so I always see that fucking pencil. And I got shampoo in my eye today and holy fuck did it hurt. This may have been one of the ones that was fogged, I don't know. I guess we will find out. And the monitor on this, it looks like the Eterna LUT. How it's like desaturated and no contrast, but it's not. It's just this red ass light. Yeah, that's dark. That's dark as a motherfucker. Especially down here. So I would say that my initial exposure works, but this split contrast is going to be more in like the 6 second rather than 6 or 8 seconds in here. And I always love going to the big size paper. I don't know. But we're going to see under light. So interestingly enough, let's get this red filter off of here. It really didn't do what I thought it may achieve and wanted to, so I think it actually, this strip, I don't think I need to go grade 3 as an additional exposure. Actually, I think I'm just going to do a grade 2. And I'll show you why. Just grade 2 made it way punchier. Just one single grade. And I think I'm going to do 16 seconds on this. And then I'll probably do just a little bit of burning on certain areas. And, you know, this is where the experimentation and, you know, it's fun as shit. But I think I'm also going to go to a full sheet of paper. So as always, make some notes. 3 distinct areas. There's this, which is a little darker because there's the midfield kind of area. There's the little racetrack, and there's the stands here. So the first exposure is just going to be 16 seconds at grade 2, and we're also at F4 on this whole thing. Boom, boom. So grade 2, 16 seconds. We'll just do a straight exposure. In fact, I think the first one I'm going to do is a strip, just to see if so I don't waste a whole sheet. Grade 2, aperture, 16 seconds. And I have to remember to write 16 seconds on the back of this one. So, here we go. And I leave a piece of tape to like mark the area it's in. Let's see what that single grade looks like. Nothing like a grade 2. Let's give it some time. 2 minutes. And she's up. Fucking quick. I'll turn you over and just... That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. 16. Maybe with just a tiny bit of dodging down here. Not too much, and maybe a little burning up there. Maybe even a little burn on the racetrack. I don't know though, maybe I want that to be like the focal, because that's what everybody's watching. I don't know. So like, yeah, maybe a 20% dodge on the fans and the spectators. 20% burn up top. I mean, if I really wanted to get fancy, I could do a grade 0 exposure, but I think it's only going to be marginal. So I'll just stick with this 2. And yeah, not bad. So yeah, I don't hate this at all. I'd like the blacks to just be a little more dense, but I really like the, the how the highlights look. I'm gonna first try this with. I thought I'd dodge this at first, but I think I'm gonna burn. I'm gonna burn this a little bit. I'll probably burn this a little bit, but I still want the racetrack and the horses to stand out. And yeah, I'm gonna go to a full sheet of paper this time. Probably could have last time, but whatever. And yeah, grade 2, 16 seconds, and then probably another exposure of just a burning exposure. I'm not really sure I'll dodge anything. I think I'm just gonna burn. Probably 4 seconds. Well, 2 here, 4 here, 2 here. So probably about 2 in the center. Maybe 4 down here, maybe 2 up here. We'll figure it out. Let's load up a full sheet. And I really have to get this gas strut ordered. It's so funny. Frank does the same thing. Okay, 16, grade 2. That's the base exposure. Then we'll do some burning. And yeah, I don't think I'll dodge anything. But I have this fancy old thing, this old printer in Monrovia or like El Monte gave me. He just said, here, take it. So I did. Boom, aperture. Let's turn this off so you guys can actually see it happening. Base exposure. Filter out of the way. And then I wanted to do like 10% here, 10% here, like stripes almost. So 20% here, which is like 4 seconds, then 2 seconds, then 4, then 2. So let's see how that works out. One, two, 4, 2. Let's see how that works out. I didn't put as much developer in here this time. So that makes agitation even more important. I always try to put like a liter for this size. Because when you get over that, like, getting it back in the bottles can be such a pain in the ass. And I mean, yeah, I could one-shot everything, but I'm sorry. I mean, I know people that do it, and that's what they do, but I think it's a little wasteful. And I don't think we need to be wasteful these days. There's plenty of that went on in the past. Well, I'd say my borders are like where I want them, totally. Yeah, those are good borders. No black borders, but you know what? That's fine. Not everything has to be black borders. I think if I did it, I mean, My last show was in 2004 at the guy who, Hossein Farmani, who, Farmani Gallery, he, he's the head of the Lucy Foundation. And I'm telling you what, like, I could probably do some base grade 0 or double 0 to just make those horses pop and all the lights pop. But honestly, I'm not hating this. Okay, let's get this out of the fix. I like to get all the fix off. There's no reason to waste fix. Again, I'm not the guy who does one shots on anything. On film, yes. But on paper, no way. And luckily, my floor comes from the same supplier as like a lab. So, angling it so I get rid of that fucking glare. So, you know, I'm pretty actually happy with this, with my my burning decisions, except up here, I'm going to go ahead and do 40%, which should be like 7 seconds. In the center, I'm going to do the same because I like how the track and the horses, you know, they should stand out. I'll stick with my original burning down here as well. And yeah, I'm pretty shocked that just a standalone grade 2 can have that much range of tonality. And I'm sure, yeah, okay, I could do a double 0 or a 0 on the highlights, just like a 4-second, 5-second exposure. However, I like this well enough, so I won't be doing that. So I'm waiting for this print to fix. Let's see if I can make my face just a little bit brighter. I was talking to the owner of a lab, and we were talking about, well, he was like, well, your exposures are like perfect. You know, our scanners, the people who do our scanning are always happy about, you know, your exposures because your scans look perfect. And I'm like, so that isn't the norm? And he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, there's this look right now, and it's overexposing Portra or even the Fuji Pro. What is it called? It's really nice. It's a little punchier, where, you know, Kodak films are always a little bit more pastel-y. And he's like, well, there's this look, and you overexpose this shit, and these people, they overexpose it too much because they've been shooting digital their whole lives, and they're like, oh, I'm going to jump on this film bandwagon because that's what all these other engagement or elopement fucking photographers are doing. And they always call and say, well, it's like too overexposed. Yeah, that's what happens when you fucking overexpose and you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So, like, I don't know, like, learn your fucking craft. You know, don't just like, oh, I went and bought a Contax 645 and, you know, I'm the best right now. No, dude, shoot for fucking a decade first, okay? And then call yourself rad. And then we were talking about, when I was an assistant, we had, like, you know, garbage bags full of fucking film that we had to snip test. And that means one minus 1/3 normal plus 1/3, and then judge it as to the final development. So the first few frames, you always just kind of like, it didn't matter because you knew that they were just snip tests. Well, I asked him, like, back in the day, we had to be really, really, within, if we're snipping for a third of a stop, that means you have to be really fucking accurate. And people now, there's no way they could expose to a third of a stop. No way, either way. And I said, do you think the people these days could do it? And he was like, oh, the film manufacturers would be stoked because these people would be wasting so much of their product, they wouldn't even know what to do with themselves. So, yeah, just a little anecdote with people who process your film and make us all laugh. Okay, grade 2. 16 seconds base exposure. She's ready. So now it's going to be 7 or 8 up here, 2 in the center, and then 4 to 5 right here. Of a nice grade 2 burn as well. Let's see what we got. Second print, 2 minutes. And here she comes. Little more burn-in on the top, about the same in the middle, and just about a hair more on the crowd. And what's interesting to me is I souped this up in a diaphine, and it's, when I looked at this, I'm like, this reminds me of like some 50s photo because of the over sharpness. And Diaphine is an AB developer. It's kind of strange. Like they found 50-year-old Diaphine and souped in it, and it still worked. So it's very sharp. But I think I nailed this exposure the way I like it. Yeah, in fact, I think those 7-8 seconds up top, and what I decided on the center section with the horses and the track at 3 seconds, and then down there like 4 or 5. I might even just go 1 more second on each one of these. But then again, I have dry down too, and since I don't know this negative, I don't want to like go over that. So yeah, not entirely upset about this. Light safe. Yeah, that's cool. I swear that's my parents' horse. I mean, maybe that was the reason I went that day. 2017? 2017? That makes no sense. So, yep. So, is my fucking So this... I always try to get rid of that glare because that fucking pisses me off. And yeah, I know, I use the F word a lot, okay? Whatever. So, additional burning on the top, like 7-8 seconds. Same in the center, 2-3 seconds. And then down below, 5-6 seconds. And you know what? That's right there. So, I'm going to make one more duplicate just, because I practice. And when you practice something for a long ass time, like, it's all about practice. It's about doing it over and over and over and over and over until, I do the same with cooking, and I'll make the same thing fucking 50 times. And, it's the way it gets good. So, yeah, I'm going to try to do one more duplicate and, call it a night. Get her lined up on 14. There we go. 16 seconds, grade 2. There she goes. Oh, hold on. Got the filter on. Boom. And increase that a little bit. Give me some more time. About 8 seconds on top. 2 and then 6. There she comes. Yep, final print of the night. I like it. I think it's balanced. It's really cool that it's one grade. The sharpness is trippy though. Nice. Be fun to look at this under the light. Well, last print of the night. Had a nice little soak in its rinse. Pretty cool to have a single grade exposure, actually. I don't know why. I never think it looks as good as laying an exposure on top of this for extra density, but it worked well. Oh, I said Time to throw this baby in the washer. So until next time, I decide to come in here and make another print, which may be tomorrow. We'll see.